Hit me.
Okay. No, last time we spoke, it was in Province Rock like 4 years ago.
Right.
And you were the most burnt out individual I had ever seen.
I remember quite well.
Yeah. So and now you're so much happier and healthier. What has changed touring-wise?
Well, touring's the same. I mean, it's like a bunch of 45-year-old guys that look like Nicky Six, you know, loudly talking about the show last night to anybody in earshot, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much the same. And like a bunch of people that, you know, I thought I'd never see again coming up going, yeah, this fuck's gone. And I'm just going, oh, wow, yeah, you're the same except bigger. So, I mean, that element's the same. In the first couple of dates of the tour, I was just thinking, oh, I'm over it, man. I can't do this anymore. However, it's like the difference for me most profoundly is before I used to be like, I can't wait till the show's over so we can get high. You know what I mean? And now it's like, man, the show is like the release. You know, it's like I spend so much time in my daily life trying to keep shit together that having an opportunity to play, it's like it's allowed me to kind of like reconnect with how lucky I am to be able to do this, right? And I think that, again, one of the things I was trying to be public about when Strapping Young Lad did break up, it was just like, when it becomes a burden, you shouldn't do it. Because again, it like implies this kind of like martyrish bullshit that is just like, dude, you're lucky to be doing it, you know? Or you could go work at the mill, really. If you're gonna complain about it, go work at the mill, dude. You know what I mean? So basically, it took me getting away from it and essentially working at the mill to be able to realize, man, you know, like I'm very lucky to be doing this, and I'm very, you know, proud to have people that after 20 years still listen to it, right? So now when I'm on tour, yeah, the touring is hard, of course, right? But every job is hard, right? But the payoff, if you want to look at it that way, is that, look, like we get to do a puppet show in front of a whole bunch of people on the other side of the world. I mean, woo, right? And there's heavy metal involved, so. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, at the end of the song Planet Smasher, Ziltoid says, I hate musicals.
Right.
Was that ironic or premonitory? Or?
Well, you see, the Planet Smasher is its own character, right? So, you know, we might have a guest to be the Planet Smasher tomorrow. We'll see. Okay. Yeah. We got to convince him that it's not uber gay, right? Yes, sir.
I'm gonna like black and white things a little bit, but let's say that when you quit doing drugs and alcohol, it was like was it 2006 or somewhere around that. After that, we've had like a Ziltoid and Devin Townsend project albums. But when you, let's say, woke up from that state of mind and you like look back to your all previous works, do they like appear to you as the same as at the times when you were doing them and still on that way of life?
I appreciate that question, man. I mean, at first I thought I was going to revisit the music and feel like upset or embarrassed about it, but really I'm incredibly proud of it because at that point in my life, that's who I was, you know? And a lot of people saying, well, are you anti-drug, are you anti-drink? Not at all. Like, not at all. I mean, I just got to the point where I know what works for me and what doesn't. You know, I've got friends that smoke marijuana and, like, drink, and they're perfectly functional. And it doesn't affect them in a way that, you know, is counterproductive to their creative process, right? But knowing for myself, after getting away from it, that it had such a profound effect on me, then, you know, now I move forward. But when I listen back to the stuff, that it's exactly the same in the sense that it was honest. I was just honest about where I was at that point. But I appreciate that, man, because I remember listening to Alien like about 2 months ago going, oh God, I don't want to listen to that because I was in such a state. And I remember thinking, nah, yeah, that's exactly what it was. You know, that was perfect, right? You know? So, no, I appreciate that. We're probably going to have to wrap it up in about 5-10 minutes, if that's okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
first.
At first, you wanted to do the 4 albums of Devin Townsend project in '09.
Absolutely.
So, did you realize that it was just not humanly possible to do all those? Or
well, you know, it's
reasons?
finished. That's the most frustrating part, is it could have been done like months ago. However, as is the case with the video, there's like one of me, right? And making the video alone was like, you know, a learning curve that I wasn't prepared for. And then touring, all of a sudden we had to get the band tight and we had to like get our racks together and, you know, make sure that when we do it, it's like worth it for the people to come see and not just like, you know, a bunch of dudes out there doing their thing. So I had to make the decision to put the other records aside until some touring was done. But I mean, for the sake of it being congruent with the original idea, the record's done. I mean, the music is finished. It's just now trying to find a time to do it, right? So maybe we could do like 2-3 more questions. Did you guys have some over there? Or?
Yeah. About the two upcoming Devin Townsend project albums, Deconstruction will be heavy and complex, as I've understood.
Oh yeah.
And Ghost will be very stripped down, acoustic.
There's some surprises on both records, so.
About Ghost, I mean, you're very known for multi-layered sound production.
Mm-hmm.
Will Ghost really be stripped down, or will you have
some
layers?
elements of it?
Yeah.
Some elements of it. I mean, again, I've been trying to kind of keep mum about these next two records because there's some very interesting things that are coming up, you know, within me on an artistic level that I want to see how they work with these experiences, you know, with this Tuska festival. Or, you know, I remember when I first did Ziltoid, they took me on a puppet show tour in France and London, and that was the most mortally embarrassing event of my life. I remember I was still drinking at that point. I remember after the Paris thing, because they rented out the Hard Rock Cafe in Paris, and it was like interview after interview, and I was just like, whoa, right? And they're like, do a puppet show, and they had this big thing in the Hard Rock Cafe with lasers and like the Z thing, and headset microphone. I stick the puppet through, and everyone's just like, and I remember going, yes, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, oh my God, I am gonna die. That's the most embarrassing thing I have ever done in my life. And I remember, like, I drank probably 2 times after that, but there was this awesome photo they took because I was like, maybe I had 60 pounds more on me at that time. I just had a kid and I was trying to figure out what the fuck that was all about. But I fell asleep after the puppet show with Ziltoid on my hand, and I had drank a bottle of vodka, and I was like, ah. But I remember thinking, okay, well, if I can get through that, we're good to go. You know what I mean? Let's go do this. Let's do 2 more questions. Did you guys have some? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so can you tell us something about the project Kai? So where did you get the idea?
Well,
What's the concept like?
Well, Key, it's, no, for sure. It was, when the baby was born, I couldn't play loud in the living room. So, but I was pissed off. So I just started going, motherfucker, right? Like, and then eventually it was like this quiet record that was really pissed, right? And then it became the beginning of the 4-record process because it very clearly defined a separation, you know, because a lot of people when they first heard Key were just like, well, I don't like it. It's like this bland kind of thing, right? However, what I think people are starting to see, I mean the people that care enough to listen, is that as the project goes on, that begins to kind of reveal itself in a way that I think, I mean, I personally think Key is like awesome. But it's like, I remember my buddy, who I used to always have as my litmus test, I'd be like, what do you think of this? He's like, I don't like it, dude. I'm like, no, dude, it's awesome. Trust me, it's awesome. He's like, no, I don't like it. But now, the other day, he phoned me up and says, dude, that's fucking one of the best things you've done. And I was like, I told you, man. You just had to shut up for a minute, right? One more question?
Yeah, it's a double question actually. Is how Key and Addicted are related? And the second part is, will the further albums help to understand Key and Addicted?
I don't think that the clear definition of what I've been trying to do with these 4 records will be complete until all 4 records are out. A lot of times, like, you know, because of, you know, my like verbal diarrhea, a lot of people just are like looking for a reason to say, well, that guy's an asshole, right? But Key was a great way to start with that because they're like, oh, now see it, listen, it sucks. And so you put out Addicted, like, okay, well, it's a little heavier, but listen to that, it's all poppy, right? Forget it, right? But Deconstruction, man, it is such an antisocial record. Like, it is like, it's, I'm just saying, like, it's like, I think it makes Addicted almost seem like a cruel trick, right? And then Ghost, in a lot of ways, is like the conclusion of the story because it's supposed to chronicle a period of personal change, right? And by the end of it, the character decides that, you know, the quest to understand things rather than just merge with it is futile, so he just goes and plays folk music with his buddies on the beach. Woo! So after that, Z squared is like, right, see, there's this, there's this, there's this, there's this. That's basically a lot of bases covered. Now, don't ask me what we're going to do, because there's going to be a bunch of shit like that. All right, we good? And now the next one after that's just going to be like everything in the kitchen sink, right? So, thank you guys. I got to finish this video tonight, man. We got the show tomorrow. I got so much to do.